Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek, now in its 10th edition, featured 4 days of world-class yacht racing and exclusive beachside parties. Held during Phuket's summer season, the award-winning regatta is not to be missed by sailors who enjoy fast and furious racing. Welcome to the 2013 Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek. Thailand has become a hub of regatta activity in Asia, and Phuket is at the heart of the action. Synonymous with competitive sailing and some of the best regatta parties, Phuket is leading the way in regatta experiences. The award-winning Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek is based on the island's southeast coast, which is home to some of the best sailing grounds in Asia. The courses take in a number of islands such as Lone, Coral and Al Islands, as well as Bon Island, making the regatta as picturesque as it is competitive. Winds exceeding 15 knots, combined with 2-metre swells, made for some exciting racing amongst the 37-strong fleet on the opening day of the regatta. A single round the islands course was set for the Classic and IRC cruising classes, while 2 windward-leewards were in order for the rest of the fleet. Returning to the racing scene after a few years hiatus was Peter Ahern on his newly purchased Oi, the TP52 formerly known as Team Premier. And despite a few years away, he was back where he left off, winning the race convincingly in IRC Racing 1. Katsu, a Rachel Pugh 45, got the better of the modified GP42 Wanma Rung in the first race to place second overall. As the winds dropped, Katsu went one better in race 2 and beat Oi on corrected time to take the win, with Wanma Rung having to settle again for third. In IRC Racing 2, Fujin got their regatta off to a good start, winning handicap and line honours in both races on the day. The Beneteau 44.7, formerly known as Ichiban, and previously campaigned successfully in Thailand by Matt Allen, was helmed to victory on day 1 by Peter Sorensen, with sailing superstar Steve McConaughey on board. The largest class in the regatta this year was IRC Cruising, with 11 entries competing for the honours. Peter Wood, skippering the beautiful S&S Windstar and with a crew of stalwarts on board, enjoyed the strong breeze and long scenic course to beat fellow Al Chalong Yacht Club skipper Rob Azzopardi's Dreamtime into second places. The strong winds, gusting to 20 knots, made for some fast and furious racing, and no more so was this evident than in the super-fast Firefly 850 Sport catamaran class. Many were flying hulls and reaching near record speeds, and some put on an almost acrobatic show for the spectators. First blood went to John Newman and his crew on Twin Sharks, who nailed both starts and sailed impeccably to score 2 bullets and take on an early lead in the series. Moto Inzi scored a 3-2, giving them a good position going into the second day, while last year's winner, Voodoo, got off to a slow start by their standards with a 2-3. In the multi-hull racing class, breakage and damage had the final say to the tight racing between Mojo, Asia Catamarang's Hurricane and Java. Java took the win, marginally ahead of Phuket Raceweek co-organiser Grenville Fordham's Nina, with Da Vinci, skipper by Mark Pescott, in third. In race 2, Asia Catamarang's Hurricane made up for their problems earlier with a clear win over Java, pushing them into second, and Da Vinci again placed third. The strong winds delivered a perfect start for the Classic class, with Sirius scoring the first win ahead of the 107-year-old Seraph in second and Atlanta in third. The largest in the fleet, the stunning 90-foot Lizia, skippered by Captain Bernard Gundel, was OCS.
First day today, just getting the crew together. It was a good day, lots of fun on the water, great breeze. But yeah, good. Tomorrow will be even better. I think after a day or two, 2 or 3 days, we'll start to see, if anyone pulls away. But I think it's quite competitive this year, and hopefully it's going to be quite close. Today was pretty close, so should be lots of fun, very competitive, just like we like. This is a fantastic regatta. I'm a local of Phuket, so really enjoy being able to come and race in such a beautiful place. And it's always very well organized. The parties are always fantastic, and really enjoy it.
The Cape Panwa Hotel, located on Phuket's island's southeast coast, is the title sponsor and host venue of Phuket Raceweek. Set on a hillside overlooking the Andaman Sea, the resort offers 5-star luxury in an idyllic private setting and, come nighttime, is home to the best beachside parties of any regatta in Asia. Having recently signed up for extension to their sponsorship of the regatta, the owners and management see the value of yachting and Phuket Raceweek for the Panwa Cape.
We're very excited to be involved again this year in such a high caliber, world-class event. Last year we saw ourselves signing on and getting involved for the first time, and the success that brought through not just PR and marketing, but also through the commercial aspect of the business was exceptional. It was a simple decision to get involved for the second year, and we decided to sign a multi-year agreement. Phuket is one of the ideal spots where Raceweek competitors from around the world can come and enjoy themselves. They can bring their family and friends, but also enjoy amazing racing with excellent winds and fantastic on-water activity.
The value of an environmentally friendly sport such as sailing for Phuket and its role in attracting high-end tourists is something also acknowledged by the island's local government.
The regatta make the Phuket famous to around the world, because we have kinds of regatta. Is a big event in Phuket, and Phuket is famous for the beautiful beach, beautiful paradise island. So it's quite big, important, very important for Phuket to have the regatta.
Suites, private villas, restaurants, pools and even a tram up the hillside make Cape Panwa Hotel an experience never forgotten. And for the sailors, the resort has become a favourite. Its private beach and safe anchorage make it an ideal home for the Raceweek participants, and its own pier allows easy access at all tides.
Cape Panwa Hotel's location is really for people who are wanting to get away from the hustle and bustle. A great example of this is when the Raceweek contestants come in with their families, and their families can relax, enjoy the facilities, enjoy the serene environment, and not have to worry about anything else. Cape Panwa Hotel is a very unique property. It brings people from all around the world, and once they discover it, they keep on coming back.
On day 2, with a clear blue sky and winds ranging from 8 to 15 knots, all boats were set on long course. The cruising and classic classes headed off on a scenic island tour of Chilong Bay, out to Bon Island and back. Other classes sailed a variation of the same course, taken in Bon and Coral Islands. Day 2 was truly a glorious day, perfect for enjoying racing and glancing at the beautiful islands and tropical landscapes that Phuket has to offer. First off the blocks were IRC Racing 1 with a TP52 Oi taking the pin end of the line, together with Won Marung, hound by SEA Games gold medalist Jerry Tipsuk. Katsu took an early lead on the water, going on to lead through the finish to take line honours and the win on corrected time. In race 2, it was a much closer affair. After a tough battle, Oi claimed victory by less than a minute on corrected time for one more rung, with Katsu finishing in third.
The first race was a long distance race and it was blowing. It was around gusting up to about 60 knots, sometimes from 14 to 16. And the second race was more calm than the first one. It was up to 10 to 12. A couple of things happened today. The first race, we lost our spinnaker. The spinnaker got tangled up and we have to change the whole spinnaker. And also that same thing happened on the second race as well, which cost us some distance.
The races in IRC cruising proved equally competitive. While Irish entry Peter Wood's Windstar stayed on top of the class today, there was close racing amongst the rest, and it was Mike Crisp's Sail in Asia venture who sailed into second, ahead of Dreamtime in third. There was plenty of close start line action with many OCS on day 2 for the 2013 Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek. In the long distance race for the Firefly 850 Sport class, 3 boats were called OCS at the start. Tactics played a big part in the races today, and it was twin sharked, skippered by John Newman, who emerged a clear winner in race 1. Following that with another win in race 2 to sit atop the series unbeaten. In the multi-hull racing class, Alan Carwadine's Asian Catamaran's Hurricane racked up a third and first. John Coffin's Java, with a second and third place, ended the day leading the class from Carwadine, with Da Vinci in equal second overall. Only seconds separate these flying felines across the finish line. In the classic class, Thai entry Laurie Piper's Atlanta squeezed in ahead of Captain Beau Seraph, leaving yesterday's winner Simon Morris's Sirius languishing in third place. At the halfway point, the early leaders were showing in IRC Racing 1 and 2, while in other classes it was tight at the top with good racing across the fleet. A night off mid-regatta allowed the competitors to take some time out and enjoy the setting, the surrounds and the luxurious 5-star host venue. By start time of day 3, a steady 10 knots was blowing, and Principal Race Officer Simon James got the fleet quickly into sequence. A single race was in order for IRC cruising and the classic classes, while the rest enjoyed the breeze to complete 2 races. Oi has sailed a solid regatta so far, and the crew work was improving race by race. 6 wins from 7 races at the end of day 3 put them in a very strong position atop of the standings, 4 points clear of Katsu, with one more rung missing out on the day by just seconds on corrected time and finishing in third. In IRC Racing 2, Australian Peter Sorensen extended his lead on Fujin with 2 more wins today. Racing for the minor places, however, is very close, with 2nd to 4th separated by just 5 points at the start of the day. Stuart Williamson's Scandia and Endeavour of Whitby have put in some good performances so far, with a string of 2nd places, and at the end of day 3 managed to hold on to 2nd overall, ahead of Phoenix, who sits just 1 point behind. Enjoying the competition in IRC Racing 2 and the overall regatta experience are members of the Matung Yacht Club, who have flown in from Melbourne, Australia and chartered Beau Esprits to compete.
What's very special about this regatta is the weather is superb. The wind is fantastic. We had a decent breeze on the first day, and the other 2 days has been just great. It's also flat water. And it's fair, consistent winds, and the races are very well organised. The location at Cape Panwa is just wonderful. The accommodation is terrific, the hospitality is superb, and getting in and off the boats, off the beach is just fantastic, and we're made to feel very welcome here. The benefits of chartering in Phuket are you just arrive, the boat's ready for you, You get on the boat and you go sailing, and it is just wonderful, and I thoroughly recommend it. The club members that I brought over here are so excited about it that we're talking about chartering another boat next year and bringing crew for 2 boats from our yacht club. And we think from Australia's point of view it'd be just wonderful, because in Australia at the moment we're in midwinter, particularly down south around where Melbourne is, and we think that it could be just absolutely fantastic if we can bring back 2 crews next year, and that's our ambition.
In IRC cruising, our Geelong Yacht Club sailor Peter Wood consolidated Windstar's hold on the class with another clear win today, making it 3 from 3 so far. They sit 4 points clear of Rob Azzopardi's Dreamtime, who placed second today. Despite being the smallest in the fleet and racing in the largest class of 11 boats, a third today in IRC cruising for Sansiri Ulala gives them a 6-point lead over their nearest rival and a cushion going into the final day. In the Firefly 850 class, John Newman, racing his twin sharks, added 2 more wins to bring his tally to 6 from 6. Defending champion Voodoo, skippered by Hans Rahman, scored a 3-2 to hold on to 3rd place overall, 2 points behind Roger Kingdom's Moto Inzi. Meanwhile, in the multi-hull racing class, the pattern was much closer, with erstwhile leader Australian Alan Carwadine maintaining his lead on 8 points with a 2-1 today. They sit 1 point ahead of Mark Pescott's Da Vinci, who seem to favour the longer courses and 10 to 12 knot wind range. A 2-1 for them today brings them up the rankings to sit second overall, with John Coffin's Java 2 points further back. In the Classic class, Thai boats maintain control with Simon Morris's Sirius, Laurie Piper's Atlanta, and Captain Bowles' perennial contender, Seraph, holding 1st to 3rd placings respectively. The giant of the Classics, the 90-foot Letsia, forced to carry an early penalty in the series. Nevertheless, had something to celebrate today, placing 2nd in the race.
A bit of a unique thing in these waters. I mean, they are very evident in the Mediterranean, also in the Caribbean, but not so much here, and we're trying to develop the class. Generally associated with older boats, but we find we have to occasionally admit, for whatever reason, the race organisers want other boats. Like this year we have a classic S&S, which is Sparkman and Stevens, built by Camper and Nicholson, but only 22 years old, but she's also 91 foot long, so they were in a bit of a loss to where to put her, so they put her with us. But nonetheless, she's a classic looking yacht, and I really don't mind her. I'm just trying to promote classic sailing as much as I possibly can, because I think it's the most beautiful sight on the water. The glory of seeing a large sailboat with lots of sail up, made of wood properly, is a magnificent sight. We're lobbying around the area, around the waters, down to Singapore, Penang, Langkawi, and I would just urge all classic, or people who think they're classic, we make the decision as to who's classic or not, but you know, we're fairly open-minded about it. And please come along next year and experience a bit of wind and a bit of good sailing and a lot of fun.
The first 3 days have delivered some fantastic sailing and lots of excitement, something for which Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek has become famous. hands-on and participant-centric approach to Raceweek, the organisers listen to what the sailors want. And this is understood by the sailors returning each year and the growing number of sailors coming from far afield to compete.
Last year, the move to Cape Panwa Hotel and Kantari Bay as both the title and the host sponsors, they did a phenomenal job last year. I don't think anybody went away from the regatta disappointed at the onshore activity, and with Simon James taking care of all the water activities, it has the makings of continuing to grow. This year, as you can see, Cape Panwa Hotel have put even more effort into the regatta village. I understand that the on-water racing is as good as it gets. Great feedback from the various skippers and crew. From the participant point of view, yes, the boat numbers are up, which is encouraging. I'm also encouraged that we have a number of crews here that have travelled from as far afield as Christchurch in New Zealand and the UK and the United States. Some of them haven't been here before, and I think that is basically a message that's going out to the global yachting community of the type of regatta that it is.
No regatta of this size and standard can operate without sponsorship. And Raceweek organisers know the importance of sponsors and how sponsorship can contribute to a successful regatta experience for all. The event attracts top-level sponsors and continues to work closely with sponsors that have supported the regatta for many years.
Sponsors are so important to any event, and it's fair to say that without the sponsors, the event wouldn't look as it is. The Cape Panwa Hotel as the title sponsor, the parties, the support, the infrastructure, everything that comes with that, we couldn't organise this event without that type of sponsorship. We have an opening party that's sponsored by Mount Gay Rum that is second to none. I think the 500 or so people that were here for the opening party, again, a nice show, the Polynesian dancers and the fire dancers, etc. And the support from Mount Gay Rum, who, as we all know, are major regatta supporters throughout the world.
We believe that Phuket Raceweek is the perfect match for us. We've introduced Mongay 3 years ago in Thailand, and back then was the beginning also of our involvement of the Phuket Raceweek to introduce Mongay to the sailing community, the sailors. Phuket Raceweek is one of the few established and reputable race in Thailand, and we felt it was a very good match for us to support. Mongay was first created in 1703. This is why people nickname Mongay as the world that invented rum, probably the first rum in existence. It's been adopted very early by the sailors who brought them on the shipyards, on the ship coming from Europe into Barbados. And we've had a long-standing partnership with the sailing community. You probably see a number of our red caps around the world because we've been partnering with more than 250 regattas across the globe, in the US, in the UK, and now more and more in Asia.
This is probably one of the best regattas in Asia right now, and it's growing each year, and the standard of the regatta, the quality of the event really is exceptional. I would really say that everyone who comes here had a thoroughly good time. The racing has been great, the regatta organisation has been brilliant, and the parties have been fantastic. We were a co-sponsor, and the role that we took in the regatta, we also provided the VIP boat, the Sunseeker Manhattan. It's a very key platform in our operations here in Phuket. It gets our brand recognised throughout the whole yachting community and throughout the charter business community here in Phuket, and is obviously, in terms of our business, I think something that we would really feel, if not to be involved, we might be missing out on that potential to expose our brand.
Winds gusting to 20 knots made for a perfect end to what has turned into one of the best Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweeks ever. The weather conditions delivered fast and exciting racing for the sailors of more than 15 nationalities on the final day. And in IRC Racing 1, Wan Marung had their best day yet, closing out the regatta with 2 second places. However, it wasn't enough to overhaul Katsu in the standings, which has sailed consistently and held on to second place overall by 3 points. The class honours went to Australian Peter Ahern and his all-star crew on Oi. With 7 wins from 8 races, they were untouchable. Formerly Team Premier, Peter Ahern, Scott Bailey and Fergus Wilmer recently bought the boat, renamed to Oi, and Phuket Raceweek was their first competitive event. In IRC Racing 2, the regatta has been dominated by Peter Sorensen and his crew on Fujin. That domination continued through the final race, with a scoreboard showing 8 wins from 8 races. As sailing star Steve McConaughey, who was racing on board the former Ichiban, said, "You could sail this thing backwards and still win." Today's battle in IRC Racing 2 was for second and third, between Stuart Williamson's Scandia Ardeva of Whitby and Neil Degenkolb's Phoenix. A good performance on the final day for Williamson and his crew saw them secure second overall and relegate Phoenix to third. In IRC Cruising, the great wins today saw Principal Race Officer Simon James set 2 races. Windstar revelled in the conditions to score 2 more wins and top the class by 4 points. Rob Azapadi's Dreamtime, with 2 second places on the day, could not overhaul the leaders and placed second overall, with Mike Crisp helming Sail in Asia Venture, finishing third in the standings. The super-fast Phuket-built Firefly 850 Sport catamarans have thrived in the strong winds this week, with competitors recording speeds in excess of 20 knots. Reading the conditions best and sailing consistently has been Twin Sharks, skippered by John Newman, the clear class winner. Second and third turned into a close battle between Hans Raymond's Voodoo and Roger Kingdon's Moto Inzi. Voodoo came into the final day with a slight edge and, scoring a 2-1 on the day, saw them finish second overall, with 1 point clear of Moto Inzi.
The boat has been better prepared this year, and we've had a wonderful crew, a really wonderful crew, and it makes an enormous difference. And some of those guys have pushed me to sail in a slightly different way than I sailed before, and I was a little bit not sure to start with, but actually it worked out very, very well. We had a lot of boat speed, we got some good sails, but a wonderful crew. We could do things on the race course that some other boats couldn't manage because the crewing was so good. It's been great fun. We've had lots of breezes. We had the regatta before, the multi-hull weekend, and this one's been wonderful. The racing's been good, the courses have been good, we've had good breezes. Yeah, and it's been a fabulous regatta. Well worth coming a long way for.
The multi-hull racing class saw a remarkable comeback by Phuket sailor and yacht designer Mark Pescott. Skippering Da Vinci, a second and a first saw them defend their title by a single point, ahead of the week's early leader, Asia Catamaran Hurricane, who finished second overall. The Classic class continued the week-long pattern, with Simon Morris's Sirius at the front, Laurie Piper's Atlanta in second, and the German Maxi Classic Lizia third. It was not to be this year for perennial regatta entry Seraph, who had to settle for 4th place this year on countback. An initiative this year by the new co-organisers of the Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek was the introduction of a youth regatta. Designed solely for the youngsters, the inaugural Junior Phuket Raceweek took place during the Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek and was held off Ao Yon Beach on Phuket's southeast coast. Co-hosted by the Region Phuket Cape Panwa and Panwa Beach Resort Phuket, the 16 young sailors had a great time, enjoying 4 competitive races in 2 classes, Optimist and Toppers. Strongly supported by the Royal Thai Navy and local sailing community, including Ao Chulong Yacht Club and the Phuket Youth Sailing Club, The inaugural event was a great success, and the organisers plan to build on this for 2014. Taking place in Phuket's summer season, the Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek has developed a reputation for delivering great sailing and consistent wins over the years. And this year was no exception. Phuket Raceweek has also become well known for its social scene, delivering some of the best onshore parties of any regatta in Asia. A large turnout for the final night's gala dinner, hosted by Cape Panwa Hotel, brought to a close a very successful 10th anniversary Cape Panwa Hotel Phuket Raceweek.